We're in Management World in Dublin, and I'm lucky enough to be with Paul Donovan, the CEO of Eircom. Paul's fresh off stage, and Paul, your closing remark I'd like to start on, which is, it's not where you stand, but it's the direction you're facing. What did you mean by this, and which direction are you facing?
I guess what I meant by my comment is that the pace of change around us is so fast and so unpredictable that you have to have a situation where your organisation is constantly sensing what's out there in the future and actually making sure that you're positioned to go in that direction when things become clearer. And that I guess is the riddle which most of us in the telecommunications industry are trying to solve, as providers of connectivity really seek to find their new place in what is a rapidly evolving world.
Okay, and I was sorry about that. I shouldn't make that mistake. the inhibitors to you being able to go where you are. I mean, there was a big list coming up in the panel discussion there. Can you really keep pace with the new digital entrants? And is that where you should be aiming to go?
Well, look, I don't think you're ever going to be able to outpace or out-innovate what is a very diverse and fragmented developer community. There's a lot of people out there with brilliant ideas. Some of them work, some of them don't. What telecommunication companies are good at are doing things with quality and certainty and scale. I think the whole question of this dumb pipe is quite an interesting one. We talked about this on the panel, and that is to say that there is an awful lot that telcos can do to cement the relationship that they have with customers, adding value in terms of the way that services are configured, the way that they're delivered, the way that they're reported on, and the way that we can actually expand our offering to meet a broader set of needs.
So is this your definition of a smart pipe?
Well, I think, smart pipe, intelligent pipe maybe rather than smart pipe, where we actually use the data that we have around customers, our understanding of how our network is performing under networks are performing under different circumstances, to be able to make sure that we deliver that connectivity, which actually customers really require, but don't value that highly compared to the services that they're consuming.
Do you think then that operators should be focusing on doing this and not trying to take major digital initiatives and chase people like Google?
Well, look, I think if you are one of the few very large global telcos, you can afford to do major digital initiatives. But you've seen things like Vodafone and Vodafone 360, which consumed hundreds of millions of euros investment and is nowhere today.
No.
Telefonica Digital is set up in a slightly different kind of a way, and I think this is a very interesting kind of template for the industry, where this is about operating both services and making investments and developing services at the same time. So it's much less of a kind of all the eggs in one basket approach. And of course you have to be very large and you have to be quite global to be able to do that. A small single country operator like ourselves has to be someone who really buys things off the shelf and configures them once they're proven.
Keith Willits was talking about companies needing to understand that sometimes they have to eat their children, in terms of Kodak, for instance. Do you think it's dangerous for the operator to in fact neglect its child if they're doing this digital focus?
Well, eating your children is a very conscious act, okay? And you only do that when you are convinced that this is going to give you the long-term benefit for the short-term pain that might accrue. And so I think you have to be pretty certain that your future direction is absolutely right before you start cannibalizing your core business. Because actually it's the cash flows from the rather unglamorous, quite long in the tooth services that actually provides the basis for investment in the new. And so optimizing those cash flows by cost reduction and simplification can actually provide a bridge really between the old world and the new.
Okay, well thank you very much for taking the time.
You're most welcome.